Another day, another battle series. This one's got me real geeked out. It's got me really excited. I've been wanting to get to this one because I wanted to find out whether or not this is or is not the most important attribute. And I can't wait to show you guys the results. If you have not seen it, this is now episode 4. So we have Swing Path. That one is a highly recommend go watch if you have not seen it to see the differences and find that threshold. I've given a threshold on power and told you how you can save attributes on power. I found like the rhythm of the actual attributes. And then I did correction. And correction was an interesting one because I also talked to you about exactly where you should put your correction and how you can also save attribute points there. All for you to save attribute points. And today we're going to talk about contact and whether or not you should or should not save attribute points here. And just note, for people who watch these tests that I do, I usually do them on like Pro-Am or Pro, but I do test them on higher difficulties as well, like Legend. And the harder the difficulty, the more exaggerated the results will be. For instance, if you do a push or a pull for about 1%, then, on Legend compared to Pro-Am, that 1% is going to be a lot further offline compared to, the lower difficulty. So just note that I don't see like shrinkages of forgiveness windows, but I do see an increase in like offline dispersion when it comes down to the percentages. So when we get into those tests, you definitely should know that. And if you don't know about it, I'm going to throw up the graphic here when I talk about contact. So contact is about your hook and your slice forgiveness. So you can see here the little top ticker. The further you are from this will determine the hook and the slice of it. If you miss it on one side, it goes hook. If you miss it on the other side, it goes slice. And if people don't know what that is, it's essentially your curve to the left, your curve to the right. The higher this stat is, they're saying, the less likely your ball is going to curve offline and it's going to be going right at your target with your normal bias of either a draw or a fade swing. So that is pretty much how that goes. As always, you can only get these to 99. You cannot exceed a 99. This includes fittings as well. So if you have this up to a 99, we'll say a 92, and then you apply plus 10 fittings, you still only can get to a 99. You cannot get above that. And just remember, this is a very costly one because the higher you put this up, the less power you will have with your driver. So just some information there to know as we get on into the test. And now let's get on into it. I'm going to pop up, per usual, the graphic. Very easy to understand graphic here for you. And what this graphic shows is this graphic shows a 3 different tiers. So one is at a 42 level, which is going to be the red section there. And then the other one is going to be at the purple level, and that is going to be the 70 overall that you're looking for. And then lastly, and most importantly, is the green section, which is going to be your 99 overall. So the results that we found were actually massively significant, actually more significant than Swing Path was. So this is actually where Swing Path was about a 2.4, I believe it was like 2.4, 2.5% per point per attribute point. This was actually a 3% difference when it came down to it. So each attribute point that you apply will create those forgiveness windows. It will increase them by about a 3% increase in area size, which is a significant amount of, increase. The red to the purple was a 1.8, inch increase of area surface, which means your difference between a 42 all the way up to a 70 overall, you're going to have your forgiveness window is going to be 1.8 times, so just under 2 times bigger than the 42 overall. And then if we're comparing the red all the way up to the 99 overall, it was a 2.8 inch area surface increase, which means you're just under 3 times bigger than your 42 overall, which is a massive increase, almost a 3 times difference in actual surface area for you to hit it. That is, some massive results. And it just shows you that contact is probably and is statistically wise of what I've measured, the most important stat when it comes to this game right now. Obviously, power can play a major factor, but when it comes to hitting at your target, a high contact is actually very important and more important than even swing path is. That combination itself is very important. But now let's talk about how you can relate this to actual like visuals. And you can see I've gotten all of these to, a really good spot where I've eliminated perfects, I've eliminated wind, and this is purely just contact dispersion. All of them are roughly around the 8% mark, and then I also have a combination of them around like the 6% mark. So now how does this equate? Well, this simply equates to 15 attribute points. For example, if I have 70 attribute points on contact and I boost it all the way up to an 85, at the Pro-Am level, that's going to be about 5 yards of offline dispersion. So essentially, you're going to be 5 yards more offline at an 85 than you would be at a 70. Now, when it comes down to the higher levels, you're looking more around the 8 to 10 yard range of offline dispersion with these same exact results. So these are massive results, massive differences between the actual. Now let's talk about pretty much like a threshold here for what I think you guys should go with. The threshold that I'm really confident that you should probably be in is as much as possible. You want to get this as high as possible and probably a lot higher than you even get your swing path, because this is hands down so far the most important stat in this game. You obviously want to get, into a really good spot when it comes to power. So I highly recommend finding a nice balance, and I've given my threshold on power, but even I would sacrifice a little bit of power and get a really high contact. And this is going to be really important when it comes down to fittings, because you can really use your fittings, right? If you get your power in a good spot, you can really apply fittings, a lot of contact fittings, to maximize this attribute and get it as high as possible. If there's any way that you can get your power up to a good spot and your contact up to a 98, 99, I highly recommend it. The higher you go, the better off it is. But anything 90s is really solid for contact, and you will not be disappointed with that. So get this probably above 90, above 92, as high as possible without sacrificing so much distance. I have mine up to a 95 overall with my Magician build, and that's just because it's a combination of contact and fitting contacts on top of that. I hope this information helped. As always, do not forget to like, do not forget to subscribe. I will be live on stream tomorrow, Saturday, March 22nd. Come on in, chat. Don't forget about the giveaway. We'll see you in another.